Hello there, Razzle48 here, bringing you my first video about Link Zefras. Now, as we all know, the Link Strike Structure deck just dropped a few days ago. The new Link rules came into effect, and a lot of people were asking me, "Hey, Razzle48, how do you run Zefras post-Link format?" I don't think it's possible. It's very possible. It's like it's actually not nearly as difficult as you would think to run the deck post-Link. So what I have on the screen right now is my most recent build of the deck for pre-links. This is what I just deck profiled for pre-links maybe about a week ago. So I'm gonna explain to you how you're gonna ease the most recent pre-link deck version into like a sort of prototype early Link format build of the deck to sort of ease you into the mechanic, and then I'll talk about the different engines and strategies to utilize Link monsters in order to continue playing Zefras like they need to be able to be played. So like I said, this is the current most recent pre-Link build. It uses the Dino engine, the Zodiac engine, a little Nat Beast Spice here, your standard hand trap lineup, the usual stuff. And this is the first build that I used post-Links. Now I'm going to explain the changes to you one by one. For the first thing you see right here at the bottom, I'm running triple Gofu. Gofu doesn't need much explanation. It's an engine that's thrown into a lot of decks that need to utilize the extra deck as to make an easy decode talker via the use of making 2 Link Spiders out of the tokens that Gofu gives you, and then linking the Gofu plus the 2 Link Spiders into a decode talker, which gives you 2 slots. This does not use your normal summon, and it is it's a single card decode talker that only uses one of your resources in opening hand in order to make that Link monster that gives you 2 extra deck slots to play with. And Decode Talker is honestly a good card in and of itself. It can negate things that target. I find myself using this in the in matchups against things that utilize True Dracos a lot to negate those pesky spell and trap destruction effects that trigger when they go to the graveyard. So Gofu is a really obvious choice. You don't need to run any other cards besides Gofu. The engine's small, you can just run it at 3. The obvious drawback is you do have to run the 2 Link Spiders in extra, and there's no cards that can search it to my knowledge. But and so there's like only 3 ways in the deck that you can utilize it, and that is hard drawing it in the opening hand. But that's okay, because it's still a really good starter card to like set you up for the further plays of your deck. The second Link engine that I'm running in this deck that's probably obvious as well as Zodiacs. Zodiacs are in essence a single card decode talker in and of themselves. If you use Barrage, or if you use Barrage to get a rat, or you just normal summon rat in general, you can make Zodiac Tigress off that rat, and then use the effect to special the second rat out of the deck, get a free search off Broadville from the Tigress while you're at it, and then you can make the Chakanine, which lets you bring back the first rat and link all 3 monsters that are currently on your board into a decode talker. And this is another engine that does not have to utilize your normal summon in order to get decode talker. All you need is Barrage. And this is a very good engine for post-links because of the fact that you don't have to run any bricks to use it. Sure, after you do it once, Barrage will be a brick from then on, but that's okay because you'll have cycled through a lot of the cards in your deck. In order to do it, like both rats will be gone if you used a Barrage. That will be gone. And it doesn't have to use your normal summon either if you open Barrage. Obviously, if you're running this engine, you're going to be running 3 Barrage and 2 Rat. So the chances that you open Barrage above Rat is higher, but if you do open Rat, it's no big deal. It's the exact same outcome, only one that uses your normal summon. So the only addition to the main deck that I made in comparison to the pre-link version of the deck is I added the 3 Gofus, and I took out the glow-up bulb. Because making Nat Beast post links is like it's not a situation that happens often enough. to warrant running the Glow Up Bulb and the Nat Beast and the Beatrice and all of that, which brings me to the extra deck space. Obviously, I'm dedicating 4 spots in my extra deck to Link monsters right now. I took out the Glow Up Bulb in the main deck, which means I was able to take out both the Naturia Beast and the Beatrice for my 2 Link Spiders. And for the other 2 spots, for the 2 Decode Talkers, I took out MX Saber Invoker because it's really inoptimal to special summon a rat off of an Invoker nowadays, because that means that you'll either already have Decode Talker, which means you open Gofu, and you already Pendulum Summoned in order to make the Invoker. Which means that one of the Decode Talker spots will be pointing to Invoker, and the other to the Zoo XYZ that you keep stacking on top of, and you will have already used your Pendulum Summon in order to stack the 2 Zefras in order to make the Invoker, which is just all around inoptimal, because if you have Decode Talker at that point in time, then you can, then chances are, unless you hard bricked, that's the Link Strike starter deck. Unless you hard bricked and both of those level 3s are Plica and Windy, which never happens ever anymore, because of the fact that you get to run like 6 search cards, and you get to run, 6 search cards, and you get to run like 3 Zefras. Like, it just does not happen anymore. The fact that you just open both of these with and you're unable to get treasure into the extra deck or into your hand in order to Pendulum Summon. So Invoker, totally unneeded. I'm never going to run that card again, and unless like Link rules change or something. And also, I took out Baxia because it's really difficult to get Ding Long and Treasure out on the field and sync for Baxia and still want to continue further plays, because at that point the Baxia is probably taking up like the extra deck spot or something along those lines. And Baxia is generally a going second card anyway, and if you get to the point where you're able to make Ding Long and sync into something with Treasure, then you could modify Ding Long's level to 3 and go into Metaphysaurus, which will solve most of the problems that Baxia would solve anyway. So, those are the 4 things that I took out for the initial Link monsters. As you can see, the side deck is entirely different. This has nothing to do with Links. This is just me putting better cards in my side deck. But the Dino engine is still here. That's because a 1-card Ding Long is really good. Ultimate Conductor is really good for post Links because it doesn't need Decode Talker in order to function. Searchable Kaiju, still good as always. I think that this whole engine is still just fine because you make Ding Long and it goes into the extra deck spot, and then you want to sync with Ding Long anyway in order to make Metaphysaurus or Stardust Charge, which allows you to which would go into the extra deck spot that Ding Long was in anyway. And so, Dino Engine, still good because Ding Long is a broken card. It lets you go plus in and of itself. It replaces itself when it leaves the field, and it lets you add from deck to hand on the initial summon. So this is my initial post-link build for Zefras for post-link format. The Gofus, 1-card Decode Talkers. The Rats, Barrages, 1-card Decode Talkers, which afterwards, if you open Barrage or Gofu, you have not used your normal summon, so you can use this to make Ding Long, and then you can proceed to Pendulum Summon, because turn 1, you're only going to be Pendulum Summoning 1 from extra deck max, and that's if you use Zefrat's effect. Which means that the Ding Long that you put in one of the decode spots and the thing that you're Pendulum Summoning from Zefrath would take up the other one, and then you can Pendulum Summon everything else that you need to Pendulum Summon from your hand. So, a lot of first turn plays are not, like, cut back upon whatsoever from Links, except for the Nat Beast play, which I said that I took out anyway, which worked out all in all because I needed extra deck room. And, yeah, so that's the very basic Link, post-Link Zefra plays, is Gofu into Decode Talker, Barrage a Rat into Decode Talker, proceed to do Zefra stuff. Now, once, Code of the Duelist drops and we get Mrs. Radiant, things are going to be a little bit different. Keep in mind that there's probably going to be a ban list upcoming, in which case Zodiacs will get hit. Gofu has the potential to be hit as well, due to the fact that Konami probably doesn't want people being able to make Decode Talker so easily. So, there is a huge chance that Gofu will get hit on the next list, as well as the Zoo engine, because Zoo is just dominating everywhere. And so I have a few things to say about this. For one, there is a chance that Gofu will not get hit. It is still new in Link format, and Konami may let Gofu run rampant in order to let people get used to the mechanic for a little while until they find some less obvious routes in order to make their Link monsters as to permit the deck to play further. So I do think that there is quite a large possibility that Gofu will not get hit, in which case I'd probably still run it. The second thing to mention is that before Zoo gets hit, Mrs. Radiant is going to be put in this deck as soon as it comes out. I'm taking out 1 Decode Talker for Mrs. Radiant, and that is because every time I open Rat or Barrage, I'm going to be making Mrs. Radiant over Decode Talker. And let me explain. Once you get to the same point in the combo that you would make Decode Talker, you have a Chalk-a-9 and 2 Rats on the board. You instead make Mrs. Radiant with the Chalk-a-9 and the Rat that you brought back off of Chalk-a-9 into Mrs. Radiant, and then you can use the final Rat to make Trident at the very end of your plays, because you probably going to need both spots that Mrs. Radiant is pointing to prior to, like, the very last move of your turn, because you may need those spots for Dinglongs, or for things that you Pendulum Summon from Zefrath. Because at the end of the turn, like, usually after you've done everything, only one of those spots is taken, be it for Stardust Charge, or for, Xiao Feng, or for M7, or whatever, and then once you've done all of your plays, you can then proceed to put the Rat in the other zone for Trident. Which is why, Code of the Duelist makes this deck exponentially better, just for that one Mrs. Radiant, so that, because right now, Barrage or Rat just makes Decode Talker, but after Code of the Duelist, it'll make Mrs. Radiant and Trident, which is obviously strictly better. Now, let's say theoretically that Rat gets put to 1, because that is the only Zoo hit that will hinder this play whatsoever. If Rat gets hit to 1, then that means that you'll no longer be able to special a Rat from deck, and you will still only be able to just make Mrs. Radiant nothing else. This is still a good engine to run, even in that situation. As long as Chalk-a-9 does not get banned, and as long as Chalk-a-9 and like Borbo and like Broadbull rather don't get banned, I will still be running this engine, because what you can do is, as long as you have a Zoo in the graveyard, which would probably be detached from Borbull and able to search one of these 2 scales, then you can use Chalk-a-9 to bring it back and make Mrs. Radiant. And this is still a single card Mrs. Radiant that may not use your normal summon unless they ban Barrage, in which case it will, which isn't that bad post the ban list, and I'll explain why in a minute. But it's still a 1 card Mrs. Radiant that you do not have to run any bricks in the deck for. Any Zoo in the deck, you'd be able to normal summon, get that search off Broadbull if Broadbull does not get banned, and proceed to make Chalk-a-9 into Mrs. Radiant. Obviously, whether or not Trident gets hit does not affect this play whatsoever, because if Rat goes to 1, then it doesn't matter if you have Trident in your extra deck or not. If Trident does not get banned, then I'm not even sure that I'd even still run it, because mainly because of the fact that you won't have like any Rats left over once you've made the Mrs. Radiant, unless Rat stays at 2, which I really do not think is going to happen. You still run Barrage, obviously, but Barrage is going to get hit. So basically what I'm saying is, as long as Rat doesn't get as long as Broadbull and Chalk-a-9 both do not get outright banned, I'm still going to run Zoos in some form or fashion, because they're strictly better engines than all the other current existing Link engines that are not Gofu. And speaking of which, let's talk about them for a second. There are 2 other engines that I have found that Zefras can use for Link engines should the worst happen and both Gofu and like Gofu gets banned or limited, and so I won't see it enough to warrant running 2 Link Spiders, and the Zoo combo gets like totally effed up to where I cannot even make Mrs. Radiant off a normal summon. In which case would probably only happen, the only way I would take Zoo out of my deck is if Broad Bull got banned, and Rat went to 1. That's the only instance that I would take the Zoo engine out of my deck. Because Barrage is probably going to get banned anyway, and Drident probably will too. So, theoretically, if Zoos become unable to make one card Missus Radiance, and Gofu gets limited to where you see it so inconsistently that it's barely worth running the 2 Link Spiders in extra deck for, excuse me, there are a couple other engines that you can use to in Zefras in order to make a Link monster off of 1 card with two arrows. Now, these engines are both strictly worse, not only because both of them use your normal summon, but also because both of them require running bricks in your deck. Similar to how the Dino engine requires you to run Elo, or the Brilliant Fusion engine and stuff like Minerva Swarm requires you to run Garnet. Things similar to that, and those engines are still good enough to be used, and should both Gofu and Zoo get invalidated, I will be putting one of these engines in. The first one is Trickstars. Trickstars have a field spell that lets you invalidate enemies' back row and lets you search one of their monsters. The monster that you're going to be searching is obviously, let me look her up here. Is obviously, oh, she's not here. Well, it's the Trickstar that lets you add a Trickstar from deck to hands. So, if you open the field spell, or then you're gonna search for this monster, and if you open this monster, then whatever. You're gonna normal summon her, the one that lets you search a Trickstar from deck, and you search the one that lets you special summon it when it's added to hand, and then you special summon it, and you link with both of them into a Trickstar Holy Angel, and then boom, there you go. It was a single card. It was just 1 card that used your normal summon that got you 2 arrows. And that's not bad. That's not bad at all. The only problem is that obviously it does use your normal summon, and you have to run the bricky thing that specials itself when it's searched in your deck. So that's kind of a minus, especially since that just the engine for the Link monster in Zefras is not able to inflict burn damage, unlike the full Trickstar deck is. But that's okay because we're only running it in order to get Holy Angel out and to have our 2 zones anyway. And the field spell is also a huge bonus because on top of getting you your 1 card Holy Angel, it also invalidates like enemy back row, like I said. And also I could like put Terraforming back in my deck because then I could choose between searching that and searching Oracle, which is always good to have a card that can function as either one of those things. But that's basically all the Trickstar engine really is having the field spell that stops back row and having the normal summonable Holy Angel. The other engine is not as obvious. It's Deskbots. Because I did some research into a bunch of Earth monsters that I could use to make Missus Radiant, and I stumbled upon this tech. So what you could do, the engine is running 3 Deskbot 3s and 2 Deskbot 2s. And basically all it is you draw Deskbot 3, you normal summon it, you special Deskbot 2 from deck, Deskbot 2 lets you search another 3, and then you can link 3 and 2 into Missus Radiant. And then you have the 3 in your hands that you searched off of 2 in order to normal summon it next turn and pull the other 2 out of your deck in order to make a second Missus Radiant should the first one die. It is true that the search off of 2 isn't really necessary because if Missus Radiant does die, then you will be able to recycle the 3 from the first one, but it is good deck thinning because after the initial play, these things will be bricks later on, so it just gets them out of your deck so you don't draw them for turn later on or off of any draw cards you may be running. So, you could normal 3 and special 2 off of it, and then search 3, and then link the 3 and 2 on the field into Missus Radiant. This is good for a few reasons. For one, it uses Missus Radiant, which is going to be used in the deck anyway, because I'm running like 6 Earth things, which theoretically could make Missus Radiant, even though I don't really want them to, because that would require Pendulum Summoning. But basically, that would use cards that I'm already using in the deck. And unlike the Trickstar engine, where I'd have to put in Holy Angels just for that one play, this engine is a lot more versatile. Like, it doesn't demand as much extra deck space. The bad part is that, obviously, these cards are, unlike other engines that run bricks, such as the Dino engine, where it's like I can run Fossil Dig for Overraptor. I don't know of a way to search Deskbot 3. If you know of one, tell me in the comments. I don't know. But basically, you'd have to be running 3 3s and 2 2s and hope that you don't draw any 2s and hope that you do draw the 3. Because again, this is a Mrs. Radiant that you have to hard draw. Similar to how you have to hard draw Gofu into Deco Talker, but hey, everyone's using that, so why not this, should the fact that you can't use Gofu or Zodiacs anymore. But the Trick Stars and the Deskbots are all just theoretical engines, so should Zoo be completely irrelevant and Gofu get limited. And I honestly don't think either of those will happen. Just a short little tidbit on my ban list predictions here. I think that Drident and Barrage are going to be the things to get banned, and Whiptail and Broadbolt will be limited. I'm not going to explain why I think this is not a ban list prediction video. But basically, if this happens, then the Zoo engine will honestly still be at full force for me. In fact, I might even put Glow-Bolt back in the deck, because that means I will no longer be making Drident with a spare rat, and I could maybe make Nat Beast with it. We'll have to experiment with that at a later time. But that is my thoughts on the state of Zefra's post-links. It definitely has a lot of potential. I haven't looked into World Chalices at all, so maybe I've literally not read a single one of their cards, so maybe that engine has potential to be used as the link engine in Zefras. I do not know, but I just wanted to get this out to you. Honestly, this build that I'm using right here has been very successful in testing against True Draco Zoo in the current format, in which both of us just teched in one Mrs. Radiant, because that's going to be out within a week. Because Mrs. Radiant, just the one makes this deck strictly better, just because of the advantage that Zoo gives me the Dryden on top of it. But thank you all for watching. I did not want to make a deck profile for this because the changes from the most recent one are so irrelevant. But perhaps when the next ban list comes out, which I hope will be very soon, I think it will be sometime next month, I will be making another deck profile to explain some of my choices for links regarding the changes that they made to the game in that ban list. But until then, this is what I'm going to be using. Once Code of the Duelist comes out, one of these decodes is going to be gone for Mrs. Radiant. But I think, other than that, this is the build that I'm going to be sticking with until said ban list. So, thank you all for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I love being told about how bad I am. So, for now, this is Razzle48 saying goodbye, and I will see you next time.